Hello everybody. I know we went live a little bit late tonight. Sorry. Didn't give you much time to hang out in chat before we went live fully starting and things. Technology is the best. Welcome everybody tonight to episode 3 of Heroic Tales of Rosewood Hall. Time is moving by very fast. I'm already surprised we're already on episode 3. Let's see, do we have any announcements tonight? I think we just have our typical announcements of stuff that's coming up next week. We are having on Monday an episode of Distractions and Diversions where a whole bunch of us are going to play Among Us. I'm not sure everybody who's involved, but because we've got like I think we've got basically everybody from Ready to Roll is going to be there. Then I'm not sure who else has been reached out to about to hop in. I don't know, but it's going to be really fun. I haven't played Among Us in like 6 months or more. And I'm not good at lying. So we'll see how well we all do. Just know I'm always the imposter, but I don't know what I'm doing. Other announcements. We've got Ready to Roll on Thursday next week. And all the drama that entails. And if you missed Rehash the Rolls, if you've missed any of our old episodes of things, you can check out the YouTube channel, which I've just dropped the link for in the chat right now. That will get you to where all of the episodes of everything are. There's also the podcast if you don't have time to watch it and you just want to listen to it. The link is also in the chat for that. And I think that's it. Unless I'm crazy and I'm missing something. So we'll just hop right into our little intro video and get started on our episode. All right, so last time was a lot of riddles and puzzles. We were missing a couple of our wonderful heroes, so I will just go ahead and tell you guys what happened last time. You started off with the dream and the rhyme that you had been given in this dream. You went to the Grand Hearth and were looking around, started examining the giant copper tree that is the centerpiece of Rosewood Hall and the Grand Hearth. Hang on a second. I don't know why the music's not going. In examining it, found there was a little, I believe it was a pear that was like embossed and engraved on like the base of it, and that it released a secret door going down into the depths underneath the hall. The three? Yeah, there were only 3 of you who went down, passed through a series of puzzles and riddles, including kind of getting a little bit drowned, not really drowned, reading through a story about Sir Gade and the hidden gems and things, and a wonderful little chess set before you entered into some sort of vault or crypt or something, and you were beset by a bunch of enormous scorpions. And at the very, very end of the encounter with these scorpions, the enormous and brave Ferlon Idleblaze was struck down with a stinger right through his chest. thankfully, you were able to get Sister Greenwater to help him live, but he has now taken a major hit. He is down 2 points of constitution, which lowers his hit points and, you know, all his constitution things. But he is alive. We're gonna pick up there, where Ferlon, you are just barely regaining consciousness. You are on the floor of the vault. You are too big for people to lug out and up the like ladder to get back into the Grand Hearth. So you've actually been here for who knows how long. But Arthur and Ash, you are where he's been here for several hours. Like, it is now like coming up on nighttime. So we will actually, instead of starting there, we're gonna go back to a few hours before with Gilbert and Silas, who have both been busy preparing, looking through supplies and armory stuff to see what sort of preparations can be made for the arrival of the Gore Crow in a few weeks. So, Arthur and Ash, what are you two thinking you're like doing? Are you going around telling people, like, what are you now? You know that Sister Greenwater has like stabilized Ferlon. What are the two of you doing?
I have moved some kind of bedding or something down to try to make him more comfortable. I feel super guilty that I couldn't stabilize him myself, so I'm there to help in his recovery any way I can. Okay. Got him pillow, blankets, whatever he needs. And lots of nuts.
Exactly what a badger needs. A lot of nuts. All right, and Arthur, what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm just hanging down with Ferlon. You know, was unable to defeat the scorpions in time, which permitted my friend to be, you know, stabbed through the chest. And you know, if I'd made a little bit smarter battle decisions or had, you know, been able to fight better, then maybe this would never have happened.
So you're like frustrated and like maybe full of like anxious energy, but also like just kind of sitting where you're at, pondering.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
All right. After a little while, Rector Cornby, who is somewhat aware of what's been going on, he saw you guys go down, and he was around to see Sister Greenwater like running and racing. He descends to see what has been going on. So he looks around this space, very like wide-eyed. This is not a place that any of you have ever heard of. So this is not something that's like on the basic blueprints or maps of the keep itself. So his surprise and wonder is very apparent on his face. But as he enters and he sees Ferlon on the ground, he rushes over to check in and see if everything's all right.
Rector, I didn't expect you to come down. I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know what to say.
To be honest, there's not a lot going on for me to deal with upstairs currently, and I heard there was quite a to-do. What happened?
Well, these scorpions just came out, and we fought them, and Ferlon, he took out, he was quite heroic there, but one of them got a blow in, and it was very dodgy, and I've never felt so afraid, and scared of my life, but also it was also kind of thrilling. But I don't know. I just feel bad for Ferlon because he got hurt so badly. I feel that it's my fault. But
Sister Greenwater, who's still like kind of kneeling over next to Ferlon, is like, well, he's very lucky. The stinger missed his heart by just like a quarter of an inch. Just went right past it and around. Even just a little bit to the side, and he would have been irredeemably, well, dead. But I don't understand why you would have come down here in the first place. It's incredibly reckless to just wander down into a place that you have no idea what's down there.
I mean, I didn't see you volunteering to stop the Gore Crow.
How is going down into the basement going to help stop a wolf that's weeks away?
Weren't you there when we explained the riddle and everything to the rector?
Yes.
The vision sent by Midian, who we know from historical accounts that he has a tendency to appear and assist the hall in times of need.
She kind of
Someone had to do it.
She kind of like snorts and like turns away and starts talking to Ferlon. You've known her your entire life. Like, she is just the kind to complain and gripe and tell people that they're doing things wrong whenever just things happen. So it's just the type of person that she is. She's not necessarily saying that you were wrong in coming down here. She's just unable to keep it back. But the rector, looking around the space, there's mostly empty room. What were you able to ascertain or discover in here? Do you feel that it was indeed worth it? Was this a test, or was there something else?
actually, I haven't even bothered to look around. I've been so caught up with Ferlon.
You still have that map from last time? Because there was that big center bit that we never got a chance to look at.
I do have the map.
Because in character, no, we actually haven't had a chance to finish looking around yet. There's a gesture to the big pit in the middle. We're assuming that whatever we came for is there, but we were attacked by the wild, the scorpions. We found where the wild things are, so to speak.
Oh dear.
Thanks, Brad.
Maybe if we get a couple more friends down here, we can maybe scout out and see what else is in here.
Yeah, we go get the toad or the frog, and the otter.
Gilbert,
So do you go up to go and find the other two?
Yeah, I'll go do it. I'm kind of annoyed with the sister right now.
All right. So Gilbert and Silas, where are you two?
Silas is currently looking all around in all sorts of spots or storage closets for anything he can find that might be of use to a defense of the hall. So he's pulling out any in like storage sheds, pitchforks, if there's any kind of tools or weapons. He can find probably some even mops that is like, hey, we can cut that off and it's a quarterstaff, or so he's just like rummaging through things, kind of grumbling, is like, "It's all this we got nothing I say."
Gilbert is behind Silas with a notepad, marking down everything that Silas like slightly mentions. So he's got like broom *3. He's like, yes, we do have some things here.
4 arrows.
You want to use this to whack some foxes? I mean, yes, I would, but still.
He just lifts his cane and shows it. He's like, this worked well enough, didn't it?
Yes, but when there's a big wolf and an army of them, we'll want something more than just a mop, a broom, whatever
Sometimes
this leaf gatherer thing is. I don't know what this is.
it's called a rake.
Yes, that's what it's called. We don't
Belief
use
that
those
it
on the
will-
ships.
Belief that it will work is sometimes enough, is what Gilbert just says, and he marks it down and goes, rake, question mark.
Hmm. Yes, I guess it's kind of like what my captain used to say. Don't let the winds blow you off course, only yourself.
You
Yeah,
do
I
know
don't
you're
know.
the only person that's been on a boat here, right? Like, I just swim.
Yeah, that's. Don't worry, I didn't understand what that meant either. So, okay, let's move on. And so that's what we're doing.
Gilbert
Alright.
just laughs as he walks with him.
All right, so that's what you two are doing when Arthur finds you.
I'm assuming we're kind of further away from wherever Arthur and Ash had kind of gotten the sister and Rector told them
Yeah.
of Ferlon. We haven't heard yet.
I imagine
probably.
that you're actually very likely in like the gatehouse because that's where a lot of like the weaponry and those sorts of like protective materials are kept, because they don't fit in with like kitchen storage and like laundry and stuff.
I would have gone through the kitchen storage anyway, just to make sure.
Hmm.
That was earlier in the morning.
Also,
Gotcha.
rations are important.
They are very important.
Yes.
Right, but yeah, so Arthur, you find the two of them like digging through like the storeroom near the gatehouse.
You, find what you're looking for?
Well, it
If you mean
depends-
3 brooms, then yes.
Depends what we're needing. But yeah, not as plentiful a defense as I was hoping.
Well, we think we might have found something, but it almost cost Ferlon his life. So I think you guys should come with us and check it out.
Gilbert
What?
fully just drops his thing and starts walking with Arthur.
Silas starts running and picks up Arthur and starts running towards.
Gilbert's just
Where am I
walking a
going?
little bit faster.
The tree and the great hearth, I promised that I could walk myself.
Okay.
I,
Set him down.
Ferlon's
Lead the way.
fine for now. He
Oh.
he got stabbed by some really big scorpion, a really big scorpion. But we got the sister and she took care of him.
That's good.
That's
That's good.
that
And
is
you know,
good.
I almost drowned. It would have been really nice to have an otter to do that part. Or, you know, a frog.
But you want us to drown instead?
No,
Yeah.
the water bit. You could have held your breath a lot longer than a
of
mouse.
course. Yes.
Yes. But someone needed to make sure that we have some sort of extra protection.
I hate them down.
Lead them down through the set of chambers that you had passed through and into the like vault crypt area. You guys see Ferlon on the ground, unconscious.
Mr. Ferlon. Sister, how's he doing? I've heard that you have helped him.
At this point, I've stabilized him. He should be all right. It'll probably take him a little while before he's really able to be moved. He's a bit too heavy for me to lift. I don't know if he'll really easily fit out the trapdoor on the way out.
Yes. Well, I can. When you deem him fit enough to be moved, I can help with that. Hopefully.
We'll see. Probably, I'm hoping that he'll wake up within like an hour or two. He mostly just needs to rest and let his body fix itself.
Gilbert turns towards Arthur. What caused the wound?
A scorpion, I said that. A big scorpion, bigger than a badger.
That's more important. That's okay.
I
Which
mean,
is-
the dead
it's-
body's right there.
It is dead on
Probably-
the floor right there, yes.
The dead
Oh.
body's like, oh. That's
Right.
You know, the gigantic gaping spear wound from when I launched myself from 15 feet in the air. Just
Oof.
very
Gilbert pokes it with his cane and like looks at the finger. Yes, that is rough. I'm sure he fought well.
So kind of taking it all in, what do we see in this room? Kind of, there's Ferlon down but alive, big creepy scorpions dead, and some kind of pit.
So it's not a pit, it's like it was a sort of like fountain or just like resting pool, but the water has now drained out of it.
Oh.
So looking into it, there is a very obvious like panel in the like off to one side with like a little cut hole so that you could like stick a little finger paw in and just like pull up the panel.
I guess Gilbert walks over and just pulls the panel out.
All right.
Just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what are we looking for?
So inside of the space, there is a like waxed wooden box about 1.5 feet wide, about like 6 inches tall, 6 inches across. And it is, you can tell that it's made of wood, but it is like sealed with a kind of wax to presumably keep the water from destroying the material. And there is a little seam around it where you could like, you can slide your little frog fingers and like break the wax open to open it if you would like.
Yeah, I mean, Gilbert's gonna do so. He's not afraid of this, whatever this is.
All right. So inside of it, there is a rolled up scroll of, an once again, waxed like paper or parchment. And as you unroll it, you see that it is a map. So I just dropped it in the Discord for you guys, and I've put it up on stream for the audience. This is the map that you see. Now, the full map that I have, for whatever reason, my streaming software is not letting me actually pull it up. So there is a little bit on the finished one that is missing from here, in that on the trees just above where it says Tangle Trees Forest, there is handwritten, here there be vipers. And then all the way on the right side, you can see there's a very small little building that is circled several times.
Gilbert goes, "Gentlemen, come take a look at this." He goes, "It appears to be a map." He's like, I don't know why, but I feel like they want us to pay attention to this building right here for some reason.
Yeah, I can't quite make out the text. What's the name of the building there?
So, oh yes, it is quite small for you guys. So you can click on it, you can click open original. It'll take you to a web browser page where it allows you to zoom in. But for those who cannot do that, it says Remorento. What it says.
Any reason why I would have heard of this name before, or?
You can make a history check if you like, or a religion check. That also could work.
Okay. So in total, I'm looking at a 14.
You do not know what this is.
Because Gilbert's like, I've never heard of a place called Remorento, and I've heard of a lot. Maybe it's a Rosewood Hall thing? As he hands the map over to, I would guess, Arthur.
Arthur, if you would
Why
like
are we
to,
giving
you
me the
can-
map exactly? I missed that part.
Gilbert did not recognize the name Remorento. If you would like to, you can roll a history check, see if you know what it could be. If you are not proficient in history, I will say that you can add your proficiency bonus to it.
Oh, 19 total.
All right. So you have actually heard a little bit about this because you are so obsessed with the ancient squirrel warrior of the past. Remorento is actually described as Midian's like birthplace, as his childhood home, the place that was destroyed by vermin when he was growing up, and it was the impetus for his decision to fight back and to organize the more peaceful creatures to create Rosewood Hall.
But yeah, it's Midian's original home before they built the hall. It was destroyed long time ago. I'm guessing that
Fascinating.
it's strange that it's circled so much. It's been so long that I mean, I can't imagine that there'd be anything left for us to find. Unless it's another underground thing with scorpions. Maybe giant spiders this time.
Gilbert shivers a little bit and goes, "Well, I hope not, but I do believe that that's where we should start, shouldn't we?"
Some more to the initial prophecy, don't we? Or did we finish it all?
That's up to you to decide.
Oh, a map you must find. And starting from there, a path will unwind. Because... okay, well, I guess the map is the next bit.
All right.
Well,
And-
obviously
and-
it's important.
I guess from the dreams we had, hopefully this leads to something that can help us to protect Rosewood Hall.
Usually, dreams are a good sign, is what I'd say. Especially when they are all shared and we're all had the same dream. Generally, that's a good sign that something weird is going on here, and we should probably follow along.
Is that a good sign, or is that a sign of like desperate need?
It's a good sign in desperate need.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we are in deep water, so
This is going to be our best bet, I do believe. I don't really have any other leads of what we could do.
So, Silas and Gilbert, as you are the two currently awake people who have spent a bit of time like traveling through the area and the region, just based on what you know of like the area and looking at like distances and stuff, you imagine it could take up to a week to get to the spot on the map where Remorento is placed.
And what path would that be? Would that be around through Tangletree's forest? Would it be
That is-
through the viper nest?
That is up to you.
Here
It is
be
an
vipers.
open world. Dungeon critters.
Well, I'm wondering, does the week travel? What way
Well,
would
that is
take
part of the thing. So, if you choose to go directly through the thicker, more denser part of the forest, which you have typically avoided, Silas, because it is more dangerous, you could probably cut that down to 4 or 5 days. But it is a lot more dangerous. There are a lot more wild, untamed sort of areas, a lot more dangerous, non-sentient creatures like serpents and vipers and other terrible things. Going through, like, following the river up, it does take longer, but there are like people and settlements. Like, Gilbert knows that his hometown of Lilipan is along that way, and there are, you, like Silas, you've gone through the river before. As a seafaring otter, you know that there are people who live along it. So while it would be slower, but more civilized and probably safer.
Safer. Okay.
Gilbert looks at it and goes, "If we are to make this trek, I do believe that we should follow the river. Not only is it safer, but on top of that, we can meet more people and plead our cause. Plus, we can stop by Lilypan."
Perhaps we can build up a militia of sorts to defend Rosewood.
Gilbert snaps and points at Ash. He goes, "I like this guy. He has my mind."
What's your mind? Yes, I do believe it'd be safer. Because creepy vipers doesn't sound nice. And honestly, we're not at sea, so I might get us lost. Even though I am a navigator.
Yes, land navigation and sea navigation is generally seen as different.
But Arthur, Ash, you both also know this better than I do. Gilbert, where do you think? Do we have the time to go all the way around?
A way of weeks, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, how long did they say it was going to take? Did Fox say, or did they not actually ever give us a time frame?
I believe that he said you had about 3 weeks.
Also, what season is it?
It's the fall.
At the fall gala or something like that.
The golden
Golden
gala.
gala.
The beginning or the middle or?
It's like just kind of past harvest time, so probably like, beginning of October, thereabouts.
Mhm.
So the beginning of fall,
Yeah,
technically.
yeah.
And then run one more time how long you said it would take to get over there.
About a week,
A week.
Mhm.
considering the hopefulness that you are not waylaid.
If we were to go all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that smile.
Don't you like my smiles? Nick likes my smiles.
Well,
I mean, I would say that we go through the forest. We know the area.
There's only something I
Whatever
can do
is... What?
to help.
Sorry.
If only there's something I can do to help Ferlon, he could come with us.
I mean, maybe you could make a big old thing of onion and garlic and other savory herbs. Or, sorry, not savory, very like heavily, powerfully pungent herbs into a big old ball. Get it all heated up so all the scent is coming out and hold it under his nose.
That won't help his wounds.
No, but it
Wait,
might wake
Gilbert's
him up.
visibly disgusted.
Why don't we then come on over to Ferlon? Ferlon, you are asleep. You are not even just asleep. You are unconscious, ravaged by the intensity of the battle. Switch the music. Yeah. But you find yourself on a vast, like, sandy plain in the middle of the night. You do not see any trees, no vegetation, no life of any sort. And with the nature of the light in here, which doesn't seem to come from any direct source, it is the blackness of the sky and the silvery whiteness of the ground beneath you. You touch it, it is a very, very fine sand in this space. And it is so creepy because it is so empty. You've lived in the forest for years, for so long. You are used to, the world being fairly closed because of trees and vegetation, and having there be always movement of either vegetation being moved by the wind or small creatures or insects constantly moving in your view. And here it is perfectly still and quiet. What is Ferlon thinking in this moment?
He's definitely wondering where I am. And also need to get somewhere safe.
Mm-hmm. So then what do you do?
So I do as badgers do. We start to dig.
So when you came to yourself, you were laying flat on your back as you had been. You kind of like twist over to kind of hoist yourself up, and you look down, and all of your armor and clothing and stuff that you had is all gone. You are down to your bare badger self. And the space on your chest where there was a wound from the scorpion, the fur and the skin underneath is this very, very reflective, sort of silvery color. The same color as the sand beneath you.
But am I digging?
Yes, you start scooping through the sand. It is incredibly fine sand. So as you scoop some out and you like make a little hole in the ground, the sides of it just instantly begin to cave in because of how fine the sand is. It doesn't hold itself up very well. So it takes a lot of effort, but you are starting to make a little bit of a dent in this space. You're not going to be able to tunnel if that is what you are attempting to do. The sand will not hold its weight. But you do begin making a space.
Yeah, I suppose I'd feel more comfortable if I was surrounded by something.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
you're trying to just like ant trap kind of thing, just kind of not be fully exposed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So as you
I'm
can
also
uh-huh.
like, as I notice the similarity between the skin and the fur and the sand, like seeing as I scoop through it, is it any different? Like the way it, I don't know, feels against my skin or whatever.
Well, it is your skin. It's like your fur and your skin beneath it is this color.
Yes, but I mean, does the sand feel
Oh, no.
like sand?
Yeah, it feels generally like sand, though smoother, obviously, than any that
Yeah.
you have actually experienced. And because it is so fine, it actually kicks up into a fine dust as you move it.
Mm.
And in fact, as you continue to like scoop and scoop and scoop to try and make a space for you to set yourself up to protect yourself, you are kicking up so much of this dust that you are surrounded in this very fine cloud. It begins to irritate your nose and your lungs as you breathe it in and you start to cough. And that's when you realize, as you're coughing, there is no wind to blow this dust around, because the breath that you are sending out by breathing and coughing is the only thing disturbing it. And as you cough and as you kick up more dust, it becomes harder and harder to see the nothingness around you. Yeah?
Oh, if I may,
Mhm.
I would then like step out of the dust and start forcing like a circular wall of dust around me, like going around in a circle to.
Gotcha. So you're
Build
like
that effect
flinging
everywhere.
it up to try and like, okay. So you do that. You start making this, not a whirlwind, but yeah, this large column and ring of dust surrounding you. And as you do it, you start to hear something. What's your passive perception?
Not terrible. 13.
13. So it takes a few minutes of you doing this before you really start to notice. But you start to hear these quiet whispers. And when you stop to listen, they go away. But then when you begin again to start throwing the sand and dust around, you hear it again.
I guess I would try to throw the sand quietly.
Okay, make a stealth check. Or sleight of hand, whichever you prefer.
17.
Okay. Is that stealth or sleight of hand?
Either.
Pick one, please. Because it does matter.
I would say sleight of hand.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to make them think that I can't hear the whispers like I couldn't before.
Mm-hmm. So, because you chose sleight of hand instead of stealth, you are being like more attentive to your motions and your movements as you're scooping through it, and you recognize it's when you touch the sand you can hear it. And it's not that you're hearing it, it's on a deeper level. It's not something you're sensing with your ears or with any outward sense. It's something deeper. As you scoop up the sand, as it runs through your fingers, you hear all sorts of different words, all sorts of different feelings. And you start seeing flashes of like memories of people's lives. People walking on a little path. There's a little squirrel hand in hand with another squirrel, skipping and jumping through treetops. There's an otter kind of sitting on the side of a pond with a little fishing rod there. And you're seeing all of these memories. And you hear behind you an actual voice, not something coming from inside. This is where they rest. And you turn around and you see a pure silver, absolutely massive. Like, you're a badger, you're big. This is even larger, probably twice your size. And it's hard to determine exactly what it is. When you first lay eyes on it, it looks like it's a badger like you. And then it shifts and it for a second looks a little bit more like a mouse. For a second it looks a little bit more like a hedgehog. Very, very hard to tell exactly what it is. But whatever it is watching you.
Hearing this is where they rest, I like whatever handful of sand I have, I just back down onto the ground. I think I kind of look around a little awkwardly, go to one knee.
Okay, take a knee. This being, whatever it is, it approaches you, and you see it is actually made up of millions and millions of tiny grains of this sand. This entity made up of all of these different memories or souls or beings or something. It is encapsulated by and created by them. And it continues to speak to you. There are many places where the weary souls of beasts and creatures can rest and lie. And this place remembers them all. It would be your time to put yourself to rest, but there are many that need you. The dark forest and the other resting places for those grim and dark creatures. They cry out, wanting to feed on the souls and spirits of the rest. In your homeland now, there is a threat wishing to bring them what they hunger for. You are meant to help in stopping that. I know you have had, or rather we know, that you have had a long life already, full of its own difficulties and trials, but this one will be even more. Do you wish to return, or do you wish to rest?
These old bones have some fight left in them still.
You see this being kind of like swell up as if it's inhaling, and it breathes this like spray of fine dust all over you, and it blasts across your face and it enters your nose, your lungs, it burns into your eyes, and you have to squint to try and blink it away. And as you open your eyes again, you find yourself on the floor of the vault as your friends above you are discussing this map.
Oh. I suppose you beat them then.
I turn. Ferlon! You're awake!
Yes. Well,
How are you feeling?
thought I had to cough very badly, but now it seems I don't. I look down at my chest. But not because of this. Gilbert, Silas, you joined us.
That's your life, friend. Wish I could have been here to stop it.
Well,
And you do
Yeah,
feel really exhausted, Ferlon. Like, you are more sore and achy and exhausted than you have ever felt in your entire life. You are actually, we're going to kind of like reduce the whole like raise dead mechanics a little bit. You are at a -1 for every roll that you make until you take a long rest, which should be pretty soon, but like, you know, just in case.
yeah, I was going to say, I can't say that I've seen worse. But, well, I must have been out for a while. What's been going on? How long has it been? Have you all been just waiting here?
It's been a few hours.
Yeah, quite some time. We got you patched up as fast as we could, but we weren't actually sure you were gonna wake back up.
Neither was I.
Gilbert goes, but your sacrifice did yield some very good results. As he points to the map.
His sacrifice.
Taking in nasty scars of the chest is a sacrifice, wouldn't you say so?
Make it sound like he actually died.
Gilbert laughs and goes, he may not have been too far from death. 'cause I know a thing or two. I've seen
Yes,
in that.
I'll stand up slowly.
I go and help him, hold him, kind of put his arm around my shoulder, like,
Yeah.
you know, you look like you were caught between the devil and a lion turtle. So take it slow.
Gotta avoid those lion turtles. I'm telling you right now.
I guess Arthur has the map now, right? So
I do.
I will just, come over to Arthur, then sit on the floor where I can read the map perfectly.
Here, have the map.
Yes.
Over on the right side of the map, there's and I can't remember the name because it's hard for me to read.
It's
Remerento. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Over, I
Almost like
point out the
Remember
big,
and Memento.
I point out the circles around Remerento, and then I point out the little words that say, there be vipers, and fill them in on. Oh, we were currently just discussing how we were going to go over there, how we were going to
So-
get there, and what we were going to do to keep the hall safe and all that kind of stuff.
Right. I feel like of everyone in the group, I have spent the most time in Tanglewood Forest by a long shot.
Yeah, probably because Silas spent a lot of time out on the sea, and Gilbert's time has not been as much wandering as it is like in the area, right?
Gilbert would not have gone through the tangled.
The tangled trees.
Yeah, he would have mainly stuck to civilized areas where there were issues there.
Gotcha.
Whereas sometimes Ferlon might just visit for fun.
Right.
Though I can't imagine I've ever crossed straight through the heart of it.
Yeah. Like, maybe you would have gone through... And I mean, like, so here's the thing. With this map, it doesn't show trees everywhere. There are trees everywhere. It's not like only in the middle are there trees. Everywhere is trees. It's just in the middle, there's not as much... People haven't gone through and mapped it, because it's kind of dangerous, It's not like, oh, and here's this, and here's that. It's just like, there's a lot of scary there, so I'm not going to do it. But, like, everywhere there is trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, you probably would not have wandered too much into that space. Maybe you would have gone on the fringes and been like, oh shoot, there's a rattlesnake, or whatever.
But so then how convinced am I that it is a bad idea to go through?
That is fully up to you guys.
I don't have bad ideas. I only have good ones.
Gilbert fully raises an eyebrow at that.
I didn't actually say that. Adam said that.
And here's my thing
sounds about right.
as a dungeon master, I'm never going to tell you where you can go. If you want to go right through the middle of that unmapped area, you may totally do so. It is a lot more dangerous than going all the way around. It will also be much faster than if you go all the way around. Unless something waylays you and you have to take a break for a few days. So, risks and rewards. Mystery
I'm a
versus
highly trained
knowledge.
ranger.
I still think we should, go the more populated route. That way we can let people know that there's danger coming and to prepare themselves. Maybe gather at Rosewood Hall and.
How about we do have some time. If we go talking to people along the way, along the river, and by the time we get to Remerento, we find that we're shorter on time than we'd like, and we come back through the forest.
Was
I think
actually exactly the thoughts going through my head. We use it as if the need situation dictates it. But I also, Master Ash, I believe, and Gilbert as well has stated some things we need to alert the local populace about. Hopefully, gather
Just
some
coming.
more creatures and allies to Rosewood.
This coming terror does involve more than just Rosewood Hall, unfortunately. So, being the, I would say, kind-hearted people that we are, we should try to help as many people as we can.
Agreed. Ferlon, you sure you're gonna be able to come with us?
I do feel like there's something more that's been taken from me. I mean, I guess that's quite literally so. But I can give it a go, sure.
Maybe we should
I
rest, get prepared, and leave in the morning.
I do agree.
yes. I wouldn't be leaving at this moment, quite no.
I do believe that wouldn't be the best idea in Ferlon's state. I believe rest in a bed would be what he would want right now.
Perhaps I can go and make some dinner. What time of day is it now?
At this point, it's part of like late afternoon, like maybe 4:30.
Yes, I will prepare some food for the road and dinner, and it should be good. Yes, I shall go about doing that right now.
Silas.
Yes.
On your boat, how easy is it to travel upriver?
Possible. Depends what kind of how big the river is, first of all, and what kind of ship we're traveling on. I was on a rather large one, and so probably upriver we'd need a smaller skiff or something along those lines. And having one of those is very possible.
You do know, looking at this map, there are some very significant waterfalls about halfway up the river between you and Remaranto.
We would only go part way, and then we'd have to get another skiff.
Gilbert
Does anybody
goes,
use like canoes or kayaks where we'd go up the river and then we'd portage? Also, why would we go?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
we'd be
much of a water person.
I was thinking, I don't know if it's faster or not, but probably faster on the way back. This was my thought.
Gilbert goes, well, if we stop by Lilipan, I do have some influence there with some, he kind of chuckles to himself, big people. I could see if there's any sort of help that I could get with traversing the river.
My only concern is the river does meander a bit, sometimes away from our destination, and in those moments it would kind of take a whole extra day than we'd want. So for the first little bit I could see it, but especially when the river heads south, we might want to just traverse across that land.
Perhaps we should just plan for walking.
Yeah.
Hope everyone has good boots.
There's something else to think of if we do find something along the way that we could use as a raft on the way back or something like that. Maybe they even have something at Remaranto we could use.
Perhaps. Who knows what we'll find? That's the exciting part, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
A long shot, but looks like it's all we've got right now.
It's enough. it's enough. Gilbert says as he first leave. He goes, I'm gonna go make sure that we have some of the more essential travel stuff prepared. I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, I think that's a good place for us to take our break for tonight. We've only been going for like an hour or so, but we'll just take a little 5-minute break. Go get yourselves ready for another good half of the game, and we'll see you in a little bit. And we return. So, Gilbert, you've gone up to like go and prep yourself before bed. Ash, you have gone to the kitchens, I assume, to help with dinner. Arthur, what are you doing?
I don't know. What usually does a hall dweller do in the evenings?
It's kind of up to them. Like, if you don't have any chores that you gotta do, you kind of do whatever you want. There's usually like people who hang out, especially like before dinner and stuff. People will either go and like help out, or there will be people who just kind of hang out in the Grand Hearth. They'll like sing songs, you know, hang out, talk, kind of whatever. It's always a little bit of a party every time.
I'll go help where help is needed then.
Okay. Is anybody informing anyone that the 5 of you are leaving in the morning? Or are you all going to vanish during the breakfast and not be seen again?
Friar
I will
Adelpin is aware.
Uh-huh.
In the kitchen. Told him.
Okay.
I would be probably seeing Sister Cornby, thanking her, and I'm sure in our conversation it would come up.
Okay.
And I am helping to get Ferlon to his room so he can sleep.
Yeah, maybe I go to my room and you get Sister Cornby for me.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait. Come. Ferlon says he wants to speak with you.
Wait. Are you wanting Sister Greenwater the Infirmarian or Brother or Rector Cornby?
Oh, sorry, Sister Greenwater, yes.
Okay.
I was like, hey, maybe Rector Cornby's wife, I think we're talking to now, so...
Nope.
I don't know. So, Sister Greenwater. I'll go fetch her for Ferlon.
Okay. So you're back up in your room, and Sister Cornby arrives.
Sorry, I did
Sister
it.
Greenwater.
Sister
My fault.
Greenwater. Yeah, Sister Greenwater arrives. Immediately upon seeing that you are awake, she will like rush over, like make sure that you are okay, make sure that you are not like actively bleeding, change bandages, things like that.
I really, you don't. Okay, thank you. But
I mean,
guess
this is my job. This is what I do.
Yes, but I did want to thank you.
You do not need to thank me. Like I said, this is what I do. It is my job to make sure that every beast in Rosewood is taken care of and functional.
Yes,
Though thank you it is kind of nice to hear. Most people don't, so.
Well, most people don't basically die and come back.
Yes, yes, mostly I just have to deal with, you know, people getting the flu. Sometimes people cut the tips of their fingers when they're in the kitchens, but you might have a point.
And I suppose my point is not just the doing your job and helping me in particular, but choosing this as your work.
I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Yes.
And I don't think that there's really anyone who's better suited to it than I am, so why leave it to someone who's not as good at it? Especially when sometimes people's lives are on the line.
Yes. We'll be going in the morning.
we? And where? And why?
We being the five of us that were down in the I guess there were three of us first, and then I was unconscious and two others came. Anyway, Arthur, Silas, Ash, and Gilbert, and I.
Mm-hmm.
And why is because I guess it's a vision that we all got.
Right.
And there's a wolf coming to kill everyone.
So you're what?
Well, we were told to go find a map by going to the bottom of a golden tree or whatever words they used, and that's where we found the entrance to the crypt. We got a map in there, and the map leads us to Remerento. It's as Arthur says, it's the birthplace of Midian. So,
Well, I'm sure I don't know anything about that, or why that would be helpful, but I'm certain you all wonderful select people don't... I'm sure it is a good thing overall. It does worry me that you and Silas in particular, who are the most familiar with the goings on here and how to handle would-be attackers. I'm sure Gilbert is great, but he's not as ingrained in the community. It's it will be difficult for us to do those sorts of things on our own while you are gone. I really hope that it is worthwhile.
it is, yeah, I look over at Silas. I don't know what is there. I've been around long enough to believe in something greater than ourselves. So I'm going to trust our ancestors. In the
We will be
meantime,
back. You can
yes.
count on that. You will not be left without us.
I would hope not. We're about to be beset upon by a wolf and a lot of foxes.
Yes.
And we do still have that one fox in the basement right now. So...
Right.
Forgot about him.
Maybe, to your point, we should try to help make a plan for what everyone here can do while we're gone.
Well, as far as plans go, we do have Barris, who is familiar with these things. It's just not that he can do a lot anymore. You know, he's quite advanced in years. So he can very likely direct people to do things. It's just the rest of us are inexperienced in how to do those things. I'm sure we'll get along fine. It's... Forgive a woman for being... for wanting to know all the details. And being concerned. Being left to our own devices.
Well,
I'm sure it will not be any easier for the five of you.
yes, and for the actual doing, we will be here to fight. You can count on that. You can count on me being here.
And it looks between Ferlon and Silas. Alright. Suppose that we're all going to have to do difficult things in the days ahead. I will just say then, thank you for being willing to take up what's being placed on you.
Just doing my job.
Is there anything else?
I will
No.
take my leave, Ferlon, to recover.
Yeah, that's yeah, once dinner's ready, just it'd be good to have some, but yeah. I'll probably be asleep shortly after that.
Yes.
And Sister Greenwater also makes her exit with you, Silas. And as you close the door behind you, she just kind of says, I will make sure to get you some things, small medicines, different, bandages for him, because, he did just take a stinger through the chest a few hours ago. But also,
Absolutely.
if you're going out into the world, it would be awful of me to just let you do that without anything. So, don't leave without getting those things for me.
We will not. And thank you, Sister Greenwater. Take her pause in mine. We appreciate and can't tell you how much I am grateful for what you've done for Ferlon. I think he is one of the most loved people here, and it would be sorely missed if we had lost him.
That you would, and that all of you would. Please be so safe.
Yes, sister, we will. And I myself am actually going to go to my little hovel just outside of the hall so I can grab my old adventuring gear. I mean, it's been a while since I've needed them, so I will be back shortly. In time
Okay.
for supper, I hope.
All right.
I scurry off.
All right. Okay. So you go to your hovel and get what?
So my little one-room little hovel, just the place I've been living at for the past couple of years since I've arrived at near Rosewood Hall and just joined the community. I kind of bend down under my bed, pull out a little trunk, like just a little, not very tall, but it's pretty wide and long. I drag it out, open it, and there is my kind of armor, my chainmail, and a few items, few extra weapons, and my great sword. And I pull this, kind of heft it out, while on my knees say, my ancestors, please be with me and with all of us. For I know this is something I have never been or done, and be one of the greatest adventures told, hopefully, should it end well. And I kind of grab those things, grab any extra items, any extra brooms I happen to have, anything else I can stuff into a bag, and start heading back to Rosewood Hall. Kind of take one last look as I'm leaving in this little one-roomed house that I called home for a couple of years, and say, I'll be back. Just mind yourself and don't bug the neighbors. I close the door and head back to the hall.
All right. Are there other things that other party members would like to do? Errands to run, goodbyes to make before we do dinner and good night and goodbye?
I would be in the dining hall trying to explain to my mother, who is very, very distraught at the idea of me leaving.
Mm-hmm.
My father's probably like, yeah, it's good. Go out and find your own place. This will be good. And Mom, she's just like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the dining hall trying to calm her down and saying, no, this will be good. We're going to get people. We're going to help support and we're going to be gone just a couple weeks and we'll be back. We'll have more people and more supplies and we'll do it, Mom. I know I can do this. It's what Grandpappy would have wanted me to do.
Can you make me a persuasion check, please?
That'd be a 3.
Your mother does not your words do not like calm her down. They do not comfort her at all. And she fully dissolves into tears, and your father has like, because your father is like, all right, you're your own man, you're gonna do this. And he's been a little bit more like privy to some of the conversations and stuff going on, as your mother kind of like helps take care of a lot of things and a lot of kids. So he's aware a little bit of the situation that the hall in general is facing, and he has to like basically like drag her off of you because she like throws her arms around you and just like won't let you go. She is so distraught and so very upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my boy is gonna go get eaten by a shrew or something, I don't know. And she's just absolutely can't handle it.
I turn to my brother Rowan and say, you have to take care of her while I'm gone.
Yes, I will do that.
And make sure, you know, all the little, you know, little ones, Maple especially, she's gonna get herself in trouble with. I'm just like rambling about all the different siblings, what especially the younger ones, what could go wrong, and also make sure that Friar Adelpin has some help in the kitchen. I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do.
The more you speak,
sure
the
he'll be
wider
okay.
Rowan's eyes are getting. He's just like, oh no, I cannot handle all of these things. He's just like gaining an appreciation for how much you did as like.
Oh, and that reminds me, I left the soup on and I run to the kitchen.
And your mom just like falls to the ground, like as you like just by speed manage to slip out of her grip. Friar Adelpin on the inside has, you know, he's caught your nearly burnt up soup and has managed to rescue it and is standing there by the stove.
Oh, thank you, Friar. Oh, sorry, Mother was a little distraught at my news.
Yes, it's hard to see your children go anywhere, let alone into dangerous places.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I think you'll be all right. You've managed to handle yourself in here and all this, you know, the dangerous and awful hellscape that is the Rosewood kitchens, especially on a feast day, you know.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
And you hear him kind of like quietly mutter, maybe we'll get some food without nuts in it. Get a break from that.
I pretend I don't hear that.
Is there anything that you need from me before you go?
Maybe. I think I'm gonna start packing some supplies. I'm afraid though I'll have to take a probably good chunk of the walnuts and the pecans, probably some of the peanuts. Oh, what else do I need?
You can take as many of those. Those are really good travel rations, as they don't spoil very easily. They're very high in calories. They will keep you fed for a very long time. They don't take up a lot of space. It's very good to take all those. I can get you some bags.
You're too kind, Friar. You're too kind.
No, I'm just, you know, doing my part to help in these difficult times.
Okay. Well then, I shall go and start packing.
Right. He kind of like puts a hand on your shoulder, gives you like a nod, but he doesn't speak, and he continues handling dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur, do you say goodbye to any of your family members?
Yeah, I go say goodbye to the old badger.
Mm-hmm. Like taking a nap.
My parents.
Mm-hmm. They are about as frantic as Ash's parents.
I am trained by a warrior, so I'm gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm. Training is one thing, experience is another.
Well, I don't know if you remember, Mom, but I got a lot of experience in the past 2 days.
Yes.
I'll be fine. Be home before you know it. I gotta make certain that old Ferlon and Gilbert and Silas don't get themselves killed. Don't worry, Ace. Ash and I'll take good care of them.
You can tell your mom is trying so hard to keep in all of the fear that she has of what might happen to you. And once again, what it means that her little guy going off to kill monsters, going off to murder bad guys. But your
Not
father...
murder, it's war.
It's a hard time for everybody. People process in different ways. But your father actually is gonna dig through a chest, pull out his old slingshot. Like, I know you've got like one of your own, but he's gonna give you his. That he had and used to mess around with when he was younger. No, it's not, you know, really special or anything, but just in case yours breaks or you need to do 2 at a time.
It'll bring me good luck.
Yes, it will. And you will
I
bring all of
appreciate
us good luck.
That's the plan.
That's what you do.
I'm gonna go be just like Midian.
Well, hopefully not exactly like Midian, because that would his home was destroyed at about your age, so I would really hope that wouldn't be exactly what happens.
Make for an interesting story.
Ah. It's funny when you kid around. I love you. And he like pulls you into a hug. Just please. Light on your feet, eyes open.
Head on a swivel.
Always. Right.
Just asking, is there like a mailing system in this world?
No, not really.
Okay. Because that would change what Gilbert would do.
Okay.
Gilbert was just going to try to send a letter to Lilypan and be like, if we don't arrive, this is what's going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, basically the only way that a letter would get to them is if someone else were going. And
Gotcha.
that doesn't happen very much.
Yeah.
You were the main
Okay.
go-between, and that fairly rare.
Then I think Gilbert, after making sure he's ready, he's going to stop by, see some of the distraught parents, and try to reassure them, be like, if anything that would happen to them, I would make sure happens to me first. Their life before mine.
Make persuasion check, please.
Alrighty, at least I'm not bad at that. 22.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you... More so with Ash's parents than Arthur's parents. But they were able to kind of handle it a little bit better. They kind of knew this kind of thing was probably going to happen, just based on Arthur's personality. They knew this was going to happen. But you are very much able to, like, comfort Ash's parents. Kind of the idea of, like, oh, I'll take a bullet for him before he takes a bullet for anyone else is a little bit like, oh, wow, that's a really intense thing to say, but, like, I appreciate it.
I think with Arthur's parent, he goes, you know your son's a hero already, right?
That is probably enough to get his mom to cry.
He's like, any man that would protect his home is a hero in my eyes.
Just, thank you. He is He's a good. He's not a good boy. He's a good man.
He sure is. He'll be home soon. Gilbert says as he puts out a hand to shake it.
Take your hand. Y'all all have dinner. Wonderful, mostly like nut-free dinner. Mostly. The stuff that Adelpin was able to take care of before for an influence from Ash. You are set up with a bunch of supplies and things. You've told them you were going to be gone for 2 weeks. You have 3 weeks worth of food. You have like bedrolls, you've got tents, you've got stuff to make fire, you've got like a bunch of stuff. It's like when the hobbits get ready to leave the Shire. It's like that much stuff that like Samwise had on him, just like frying pans, all of that kind of stuff. Like you're
That's what I was imagining. Ash comes out with a huge pack that's like over his head with pots and pans ringing, and
you're not gonna starve, probably.
Mm-mm.
Unless you eat a lot or lose it. You're able to take a long rest and head out in the morning. Who is taking the lead as you leave?
I think Gilbert will, but he's also going to make a big show, being like, the heroes will return, as he sends up fireworks for the kids to excite them.
Okay. Then make me a survival check, with disadvantage because you are busy setting off arcane fireworks at the same time.
Wait. I thought Ferlon was the one who was fairly familiar with the area.
Well, I
Oh,
travel a lot in this specific path.
Yeah, the path we're taking right now is to Lilypan, but I also would say
Oh, okay.
he was probably only throwing up fireworks while we were leaving the Rosewood Hall
Yeah.
itself.
There's
I'll let you know, no
yeah.
matter what, it was
Mm.
good. I rolled 2 18s in a row, so...
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it was gonna be like that moment when everyone's leaving Rivendell and Frodo just goes, "Is it right or left?" You just go the wrong way for a sec. But no, you've got it.
Remorento, it's left.
Still left. Everyone turn left. All right. So you stride out through the gates of Rosewood Hall. You see them close behind you. You hear the bar go down, locking it up tight. People will be safe, hopefully, until you return. Whether or not that's true, we shall see. But you head south into the... Let me think of the name of the place. The Gray Marsh. I was sure it was... yeah. Pretty sure it was gray and not white. So the reason the Gray Marsh has the name is because the mud and silt of the marsh is this sort of ash gray. It is atrocious. It doesn't stink here as bad as it does in many marshes, but the algae and the mud is very sticky, and there is not like a real good road that goes through this space. So the going is slow. Because of the good survival check that you got, Gilbert, it is not going to be quite as slow. But as you walk through this space, you are occasionally like having to, you know, either skirt around big old pools of water, walk through some smaller ones, cross little like streams and brooks and stuff, as there is just a lot of water in this space. You can hear the sound of the millions and millions of insects in this area. It is a little bit late in the year, so most of them are gone, but there are still a few. Anyone who would like to can make perception checks for me, please.
Silas Road.
2.
12.
Oof.
I got a
14.
natural one.
I think
14.
Gilbert and Arthur are talking. That's why we're distracted.
What are you talking about?
Well, I was legitimately about to, like, before you asked us to make survival checks, I was gonna ask, how could you possibly live in this place? It's a mess. It stinks. There are all of these little bugs. There's water everywhere.
It was like, I don't live here. I live further down where it's much nicer. Because this is like the in-between. But, you know, bugs are not a big deal for us frogs, as I'm sure you can infer why. Gilbert laughs.
Where were you when we were fighting giant scorpions?
Well, scorpions are different. The giant scorpions are different than a fly.
Well, you could have eaten him.
It's not. No. Gilbert's like, no. I don't. Gilbert just goes, how are you liking your first adventure?
It stinks. It's sticky and it's wet. I expected a little bit more march out onto the open plains, grandiose adventure, excitement. We face foe beasts as our main point of adversity, not mud. It's not a very good story to
the real
tell.
adventure. A
You're
good
gonna-
story.
We're gonna edit
You're
this
just
part
being
out of my
easily
book.
heroic. You being easily heroic is a very short story. You got to tell the dirty details.
And at that moment, there is like a small rumble of thunder begins to lightly rain.
The
Oh.
little details, huh?
So, did Ash and I both get 14? Is that right?
Yes. The two of you, actually, as you are crossing through, your two companions who are like kind of bickering, kind of just talking, kind of joking with each other. Two of you kind of like head on a swivel looking around. You see slight movement about like 40, 50 feet away in one of these like pools. Like just barely underneath the surface of the water, like little ripples of something moving. And you guys are
I'd
not
like-
in water currently. You are on like a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is
And I
something
would
you
like
notice?
to interrupt the conversation. Hush! And like, hand out, and then Gilbert.
Yes, Ferlon?
I'm pointing where I saw the movement. And, what lives in these waters?
I would know that, right?
Yes, you would know that. There are
What?
lots of
What
things.
could that be?
Make a nature check.
Okay. My proficiency. I got a nat 20 actually.
Oh, nice. So you look over, you don't necessarily see the thing itself, but you do see a ripple across the water because it rolled really, really bad on any sort of stealth check that I wanted to make for it. And you can immediately clock it of just like, oh yeah, there's like, kind of like, they're kind of like eels. These like
why'd
sort
you
of
say
like,
that?
Like giant eels.
yeah, these like kind of like eel like creatures that are, you know, they slide in and out, and like they have like a slight ability to kind of like burrow a little bit into like the softer mud that is along the banks and stuff to sometimes cross from like one pool to the other.
Gilbert's like, oh, that's not great. Because that is like a giant eel that it can traverse this area really well. We should probably try to tread lighter.
So, is there a good way to avoid them?
What was the question?
Is there a good way to avoid them?
Outrun them.
Don't go in the water,
Don't go in the water.
which
It
will
wouldn't
add time.
This wouldn't happen to be a marsh with a bunch of methane bubbles that we could just light on fire, right?
That'd be a nature check, wouldn't it?
Well, that's more of like, is it this way or is it not? I have said this is not like a super smelly marsh. I'm gonna say roll a general luck check. Because, like, not that there is a complete absence of this stuff, just whether or not it's kind of close to you.
14.
I will say there is a small amount in this area. Yes, but not, like, huge amounts.
So was it a lot of eels or just like one big one? Or
Only one sort of movement that was seen.
Gilbert just goes, that's all that there needs to be. Trust me, we do not want to trifle with one of these things.
are there any tales of like a scary, monster that lives in this area, Gilbert?
That. That is the scary monster that lives in this area.
I say
Sweet.
we kill it. Make the place safer for all.
Let's not. Gilbert goes, I don't think there's just one of them. I think there's just not a lot of them.
So these eels are actually fairly territorial. So often they have like their specific like space and territory, and there's only like one of them at a time. They don't hunt in packs. If they run into each other, they eat each other. So if you find one, you're not super likely to find another one.
Well,
But maybe
do
it
you
could
know how to get
happen.
us through on dry land, or?
It would take extra time is the issue. So that's the question. Time is of the essence here.
Whether
We finish
sneak
crossing
past
the
it.
marsh to Lilipan, or do we change course and just head straight for Rarento?
I mean, how far into the marsh are we now?
You're only like a couple of hours in.
How long total would it take to get all the way across?
So it takes about a day to get all the way to Lilipan. I would imagine that trying to traverse it in a way that requires you going into the water as little as possible is going to add like 5 or 6 hours. Like it might fully double the amount of time you have.
Gilbert goes, it's dangerous, but I do still believe that this is safer than taking the direct path. Even if we cross the water.
What do you think, Ash and Silas?
Silas kind of like pats the sword that he's got strapped to his back now. He's like, kidding me? A bunch of eels? Don't like them, but not scared of them. So wherever you guys go, I'll follow.
Mhm.
Get out my great axe.
And I guess we press onward.
Press onward in what way? Are you going to go hack up this eel, or are you going to try and avoid it?
I mean, I would try to move stealthily, but I am prepared for a fight now.
Gilbert suggests trying to go as stealthily as we can, but if we need to cut a few corners to try to save an hour or so, Gilbert's all for that.
Okay. What's Ash's opinion?
I'm a little more cautious, but I'm going to follow Ferlon. Whatever he suggests, I think.
Yeah, so if it's possible to move in the water stealthily, such that the eel doesn't jump on us, I would try that, but
I don't know if you spend a lot of time in water, but it's pretty hard to move stealthily.
Gilbert goes,
What about Silas? It's not that bad.
I mean, splashing around in the water is different from slight ripples going across the surface, and there's plenty of things that can make small ripples.
We are not small.
well... Gilbert goes to go make a joke at Arthur's expense, and then follows it and keeps on walking.
All right. So, from what I understand, you are going to move as much out of the water as you can to like, but also like trying like, so where do you fall on the like, we're gonna go direct to Lilipan as quickly as we want to, or we're gonna avoid water as much as we possibly can to avoid this eel? Like, where do you fall in that?
70% stealth, right?
I would say whatever we need to get there tonight.
Within the day, yeah.
Well, to get there within the day, you basically have to go direct.
Direct with stealth.
Direct with stealth makes you slower. Adding stealth into it makes it slower.
Okay.
Gilbert goes, if we need to get there tonight, we need to get there tonight. We don't have much time to waste. If we have to fight this thing, we have to fight this thing.
I would like to rage.
You gonna rage?
Just go attack the seal.
Oh, we're full attacking it.
All right.
if it
Can
runs
you
into-
see it?
We're not gonna take advantage of the long range weapons that the ranger has or anything. We're just jumping into it. All right.
I mean,
Or the
he's
Eldritch
not
Blast.
necessarily like gonna be able to get it like right away, so you might have a round or something.
It's in the water, and he's just gonna start waddling
So
out
you
into the
guys
water.
see Ferlon just like, he's already got his weapon in hand, and he just like flips. His eyes like turn this like bloodshot red. He starts stomping off to the water. Let's roll initiative.
Okay.
Ooh.
Got this.
Little Miss Potter's dice got another 20, you guys. So good luck. Good luck.
Hey, DM, I have a question.
17.
Okay. Did anyone get above a 20?
I got an unnatural 20. Or excuse me. No, I did my math wrong. I meant 16, not 20.
Okay.
I did my math wrong. It's not.
I got a
20.
magic 4 in there.
All right. Is there anyone between that 15 and 20 besides Arthur and Ash?
I
I
got
have
15.
Okay. Which of you has the higher dex? Or you can just
I
kind of
have-
decide who goes first.
+2 to Dex. 15.
I also have +2.
All right. Decide.
I have 15. All right.
You can decide, or you can do a roll off.
You can go first if you want.
I'll go first.
All right. And then what did you get, Ferlon?
5.
5. Super angry, starts stomping off, snags his foot in like a puddle of mud, and just like takes a second to go, ugh. All right. Well, first up is the eel. None of you are in the water yet. So. Okay. You have no idea where this thing is now. The ripples stop. You see no indication of where it is. All right, Ash. The enemy has disappeared. What do you do?
Ooh. I think I'm gonna cast Blast. Ferlon. Oh, okay. On Ferlon, Silas, and Arthur.
Right. The one's less familiar with the swamp. Need that extra help.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But you're staying well out of the water. I
Yes.
assume. All right. You three are blessed. Arthur, that's you with Silas on deck.
So it's this. You can't find it. May I use?
I mean, you can look for it.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask. May I use my make a nature check to examine the area and kind of determine where it most likely would have gone, you know, based on like the depth of the water and the, you know, like the currents and the position of Ferlon who just marched into the water.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that with nature, or you can do that with like perception, whichever you prefer.
They're both the same. So I got a 21 on the nature check.
Okay. So with you choosing nature, you are able to essentially determine where it likely is, but you do not have eyes on it because you're just like determining the space. But you are able to basically pinpoint, like, there is in this pond, there is like a small, how best to describe this? It's like a sunken island where like there is a little bit of terrain that doesn't quite break the surface, and there is like an old fallen down log that has kind of like brushed up against it and like lodged there. And you imagine just like the silt of the area and like the fact that there is something to hide behind, that it is probably in that space.
Well, I have the perfect way to deal with such things.
Okay.
I am
perfect.
going to, as a bonus action, I'm going to ready Hail of Thorns, and I'm going to shoot at where I think it is.
Okay. All right.
So that didn't.
Yeah, go for it.
A 17.
So can you read to me the description of Hail of Thorns?
Yeah, so next time you hit a creature with a range attack for a spell ends, the spell creates a rain of thorns that sprouts from your ranged weapon or ammunition. In addition to the normal effect of the attack, the target of the attack and each creature within 5 feet of it must make a dex saving throw. A creature takes 1d10 piercing on a failed save, half as much on a successful.
Okay, so then I need your attack to be at disadvantage because you do not actually have eyes on it. You know generally where to do it, so you have disadvantage. But yeah. We'll see what
Yeah, the 17's my lower roll.
All right, so you do hit. So you roll that damage, and I need to roll what, a dex save?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 5.
So a total of 11.
Oof. All right. This blast of like arrows and like shards of thorns fly into the water, and you immediately see the water like seep full of red eel blood, and it whips around, and its little like snout and teeth like protrude above the water, and you hear it give out this like guttural hiss.
Found it.
All right, Silas, that's you.
All right. So
Gilbert
now
next.
that we can see it, how far away is it?
It's a good
In
like
water.
40 feet. And I will remind anybody who is
okay.
going into the water that it is difficult terrain and you move at half speed. So you've got like 10 feet before the water, and then it's 30 feet into the water.
Mm-hmm. Question, DM. I think we talked about this a bit, but as an otter, I have full movement in the water.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, that was, as we were creating that was the one thing I was like, I think that's
Right. It's Humblewood does
decided
not
on.
have an actual like otter.
No,
stat.
so that's why. Yeah. So with that said, I like drop my pack, pull out my great sword, just run and dive into the water, and I start swimming towards this eel.
Okay.
Yes, I know, probably very stupid, but
Good luck.
he's like. And so under the water, can I see far under the water?
It is a bit silty in here. There is all this like gray mud, so it is fairly cloudy, but like as you near it, you can see the blood in the water to give you a better indication of like where it is.
Okay. And then remembering my grandmama and what she did before and trying to fight with her ancestors, I essentially pray again to say, ancestors, please be with me. And next to this eel, kind of like a shadow appears, and it looks like a kind of translucent gray form in the shape of an otter. Kind of looks just like me, just kind of more shadowy.
It's kind of like the mud and murk of the water kind of coalesces
Exactly.
into this shape.
It's like, as I'm like, I look and I'm like, oh, hey. I'm like, I point towards the eel, and this shadow, this echo, has this echo of the same sword I have, and takes a swing at it.
All right.
And for my attack, I use Manifest Echo, and will attack through my echo because I can't reach the stinking eel. So that's a 17 to hit.
That hits.
Awesome. And this is a great sword. This is awesome. 2d6. Oh wait, 6 slashing damage.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Take a slice. So, as now people are moving into the water, here is something that should be clarified. Underwater combat in 5th edition rules, if you do not have a swim speed, like our lovely otter and frog, if you're making a melee attack, you have disadvantage. If you are making a ranged weapon attack, you miss, unless you're in the smaller of those speeds. But only if you are like actually submerged in the water. The space where the eel is, the water is about like, 6 feet. So you would essentially be submerged. If you're on the bank, ranged attacks have no issue. Melee attacks have no issue. It's only if you're like in the water. So currently where Silas and his little echo are, they're fine because they have swim speeds. Yeah, just for knowledge. Also, anything fully immersed in water has resistance to fire damage, as makes sense. All right, Silas took his turn. Gilbert is up with Ferlon coming up next.
So, DM question. A little bit's peeking up, right?
Yes, a teeny little bit of its snout, yes.
So, ray of frost on the water, would that freeze it enough where it wouldn't be able to move? Like the area around it?
This thing is quite large.
Yeah.
So you could probably frost up a little bit of the area to possibly slow it down, but not to freeze it in its tracks.
Okay.
A more powerful ice spell maybe could do that.
Yeah, unfortunate. Alright. Then Gilbert's gonna full hop into the water.
Big old frog legs.
Full on hop in next to Silas, and he's gonna Eldritch Blast.
Alright.
Alright.
If you are going to be casting Eldritch Blast once you are in the water, I believe you do get disadvantage because it's a ranged attack. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate because I just rolled another nat 20.
Aww.
Alright. 17.
That still hits.
Okay. Uh, 10 damage.
Woof! Alright. There is just like seeping blood all through this space. These blasts of energy are like casting up mud and goo and water everywhere. The eel looks quite upset. Alright, Ferlon, how are you gonna handle this?
So, first off, did I rage before combat started? Or I know for
yes,
flavor,
that was like the opening thing of combat, yeah.
Because we forgot about something that happens when I start a rage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's fine. I'll just say it happens on my turn. So, a sort of energy forms at my chest, like in the hole, and a silver light, similar to the sand, where I was sent back, beams forth to strike at the eel. I need a Constitution saving throw from the eel.
Is this a ranged attack? Oh wait, no, you're still above the water.
It's a saving throw, not a.
Right. Constitution. That's a 10.
That will fail. That's 1 point of radiant damage. Ha!
Oh, good. Don't kill my eel yet, you guys. Let it do something.
And then I will wade forward through the water as close as I can get, but still on. Like, I'm tall, so I should find a place where I can stand. And
Right, what's your speed?
just 30.
30. So you hit the 10 to get to the edge of the shore, and so you get 10
Another
feet
10.
in. Yep. So still a good 20 feet away.
Mm-hmm. And that's. Oh, and I will ready an attack.
Or if it comes to you. Okay. All right. It's the eel's turn.
Wait, sorry, can I will lose my rage if it doesn't come to me. I am throwing a hand axe.
Okay. All right. It's 20 feet away. That's still in your range? I think it is.
That's in the first range, yeah.
Okay.
That'll miss though. That's what, 10 or something
Yeah, that misses.
at most.
So you're gonna probably completely lose that axe in this muddy, nasty water. Sorry about that. It's the eel's turn with Ash coming up next. Well, let's see. This thing is gonna make an intelligence check to see if it feels like it could maybe attack this echo that's on it. That's a 2. So it's gonna go spin and make a bite attack towards Silas's echo, which is right on it.
All right, what's my AC? Okay. AC is 14 plus proficiency, so it's 16.
All right.
Good attack.
That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Whew! Yep.
Another dice out. How many hit points does it have?
Well, you don't need a roll. It
Just disappears.
it's got one health.
Okay, yeah.
It goes up 1 HP.
So it snaps its jaws around it and it just like dissipates back into the mud and guck. And the eel looks very upset that it just basically like whiffed through this thing and had it disappear. So it is going to... It's gonna go like try and like... Oh yeah. How scared is it? How scared is it? Yeah. It's gonna try... It's gonna swim around and disappear a little bit behind the little sunken island and the log. It cannot make a stealth check because it already used its action, but it is gonna put some distance between it and you guys in the water. I will say that while it does have half cover from you two on the land, you are still able to see it and make ranged attacks against it. All right, Ash, that's you, with Arthur coming up next.
I am going to beseech my grandfather and my ancestors to assist in this and cast Guiding Bolt.
All right, roll that attack. It does get a +2 to its AC because of its half cover.
Okay. (14 plus 19?
That hits.
15 damage.
Oof. Oh, dang. So you guys see this like blast of ancestral energy like hit it right on the snout as it's trying to slip away, and its entire body, which is like 30 feet long, just like spikes up with this bright light, and it is outlined beautifully in this murky water. It's like almost a wonderful like artistic thing to behold if it weren't like for all the blood in the water around it. Cool. Arthur, that's
No, it
you.
could be artistic. It's abstract, right?
Yeah, not all art has to be beautiful or pretty or cute.
So, I'm going to use my bonus action. I'm going to use Hunter's Mark. It's mystically marked, so deal an extra 1d6 damage whenever I hit it, and I have advantage on any wisdom, perception, or wisdom survival checks I make to find it. And then I fire another arrow at it.
All right, you have advantage because of Guiding Bolt.
So it's too much math. 21.
That hits.
Oh, hang on. I also have to check how much damage Colossus Slayer does. An extra 1d8.
Oh. This stranger is like a rogue, I feel. He's just...
Put on all that damage. Just roll all the dice.
20.
20 damage? Shoot. All right. Please describe to me how you kill this thing.
Well, we're just gonna say that this one is just kind of stupid luck. You know, I'm trying to get a good view at it, and I get a little frustrated and just say, "All right, Midian, help!" And I shoot it just kind of generally where I think the head is, and I just happen to luckily just like shoot through the eye into the brain.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your Hail of Thorns is still up, isn't it?
No, it goes
I
away
don't-
after you use
that's-
it once.
When
It's
I hit,
because-
it sits there till I hit, and then once I hit, it goes away.
But you didn't hit last round?
He did.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did. That's how we found it.
Oh, okay, never mind. Right, sorry.
So yeah, arrow goes through the eye. Immediately, there's the rippling of the water kind of stops, except for a couple of you who are swimming in the water. Yeah, it goes still and floats to the top. This thing is quite large, and quite ugly. But you have successfully murdered my poor little pond eel.
Gilbert's ecstatic.
Hmm.
Makes his journey
Like
safer in the
cryptid.
future.
Well, Gilbert's gonna swim up and like look at the two of them. He's like, impressive, impressive. He's so excited for them. He's like, that
Killed
was
his Sasquatch.
impressive magic, impressive shooting. That was beyond amazing.
Well, thank you.
Um,
Us
Yo-
Rosewood Hall dwellers are tougher than most people give us credit for.
Never doubted you guys though. It was just impressive. Here's the silence. He goes, "What was the echo thing though? That was insane. I've never seen anything like it."
Silas is like kind of like crawling out of the water, and Zar's like shaking it off when he hears that question. It's like, that was the first for me, but it's something that I've seen my grandma and my parents do before. In times of need, our ancestors kind of fight with us, help us. And it's just, I've never been able to do that before. And apparently we're in a time of great need, and I think they are like, yes, here, let's help out. So yeah, that was cool. And then I try and summon, I'm like, try and like get the feel of it again, summon another echo, kind of like 10 feet away from me.
Mhm.
And again, the gray kind of translucent shadow
Yeah, though this time
appeared.
it's kind of like formed out of like some leaves that are fluttering and like a couple of like the insects that are still kind of around. Like, so it's a little bit more sparse and it's a little bit hard to see, but it is there.
It's like, whoa.
It
Awesome.
was just like amazing, absolutely amazing, all of you. He's just like, there is hope yet for all of us. If you guys can pull that off, the rest of this is gonna be easy.
Please don't say that.
Oh.
Please don't jinx that.
Gilbert's just like, I'm proud of all of you. As he
I'm
gets
just
up,
eating up all your praise and like.
he's super excited that Ash was able
Like
to
the
pull
first
off
time
that
that's
impressive magic.
Spell worked the first time it's actually worked.
Gilbert's like super proud of Ash, like especially because Ash is like the only other magic person here.
It's so wholesome. I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so cute.
I suppose I would have probably done this before, but I will be saying, oh, you got to keep going. And I might be offering like a shoulder to Arthur for the deeper parts.
Because he's a little bit slower. A little bit slower.
A little bit smaller.
A bit smaller. Small.
Like there are places that we might walk through that he would have to swim through.
Very true.
I
Very
already
true.
spent enough time almost drowning last time, okay?
Almost drowning. Yeah.
Gilbert is like, we do have to remember to celebrate our wins, because that makes the rest of it a lot easier. Trust me.
Right. So, you set off again. Continuing on the path towards Gilbert's home of Lilipan, and it is continuing to rain. It begins to get a little bit heavier as the day goes on. There's not quite like a ton of thunder and lightning or anything like that. There's very occasionally you'll hear like distant thunder and stuff, but it's mostly just dreary and wet. As you near, probably still about half an hour away, there is a deep rumble and tremors along the ground. All of the water, and it's very quick, it's just once. And like these ripples cross the ponds that you're nearby and around. And then it stops. And you continue a little ways longer, another like 10 minutes or so, and it happens again. Much more intensely.
What is that supposed to mean, frog?
Ever goes. Oh, here's what I'm gonna ask DM. Is this a ripple and tremor that Gilbert knows pretty well, or?
Kind of. It is not a frequent occurrence.
Okay. Gilbert goes, oh, yes. We are fine. Let's try to get to deeper waters. I think we have someone we need to speak with.
Said that turtle.
So you did listen to my stories.
I like stories.
Yes, but you're always more interested with the far more fascinating, like, sword fighting stories. I didn't think you cared much about me talking about a giant turtle. As Gilbert's visibly excited.
What does the turtle want?
To help us? Gilbert's like, the turtle is all about protecting the realm, Rosewood Hall included. Anything that could come to harm it, he is all about stopping. That's why I exist.
Is this the Avatar dragon turtle?
Not quite.
Avatar?
What's an avatar?
You've been listening to some reading some really interesting stories, Arthur.
Yeah, about a bald-headed human. Of all things.
A what?
What? Those are that's just folklore.
I mean, lion turtles are real. Dragon turtles, though, I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Gilbert is like rushing, trying to get them to rush to meet his patron.
All right, so you continue on. If there's any other questions before you guys arrive, ask them now.
Not gonna eat us, is he?
Gilbert is like exasperated. He's like, how dare you? Okay, first of all. And then secondly, no, he would have eaten me. But he saved my life.
So you're saying he
sounds like
prefers frog legs?
He specifically didn't eat me, is what I just said.
He could if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
I think
he
he's trying to
could-
say that is an honorable what was he again?
Turtle. Snapping turtle. He's a
Turtle.
giant snapping turtle.
Oh, snapping turtle, huh?
It usually doesn't move or wake up or... This is a very rare thing. I need you guys to understand. This has happened 2 or 3 times since I've been around.
You have proven yourself a worthy and honorable friend. I will follow you.
After you,
Ash.
turtle.
Not a turtle. A frog.
Whatever you say, turtle.
All right. So, as you continue on, you feel more of these tremors. Some few and far between. Sometimes there's quite a few all at once. Gilbert, can you make me an insight check, please?
Yeah. Figured that was coming. That's 17.
This is very abnormal. Even the couple of times that you have spoken to your patron face to face, it wasn't like this. Begin to
Gilbert's
get
very much-
a little bit nervous.
Yeah, Gilbert's like, you must know something's going on.
So and these thoughts are kind of coming to you as you're making like the final approach, as you enter the space where Lilipan is. Lilipan being built on and around a very large lake in a sunken part of the marsh. Immediately visible to all of you is the level of the water, far lower than it usually is. There is a line of buildings around one side. The water level at least 15 or 20 feet below. Gilbert, you look around to see the like water dwelling portion of Lilipan. Those who would live on these like lily pad houseboats. They're all swept to the side. And you see far across on the other side of the lake, it looks kind of like a moss-covered mountain protruding up out of the water. But Gilbert, you immediately recognize it as the shell of your patron.
Gilbert's full sprinting. Now he is terrified towards
You
it.
see the rest of you movement through the little houses that are built up on the side of the lake, rushing figures. You hear shouts and screams. Because of the rain, there is no flames, but the city of Lilipan is currently under attack. You see the forms of rats, see the forms of weasels, see the forms of several foxes running through the space. And the turtle, with its front 2 like club-like feet up on the side of the bank, on the other side, trying to like snap at and grab others that are continuing on towards the city. But that is where we're gonna stop tonight. I'm not gonna run into this beautiful battle tonight, or we'll just never sleep. So, thank you guys so much for coming tonight and playing tonight, being in the chat and hanging out. We hope you have enjoyed, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Just final reminders that there will be Among Us on Monday with a whole bunch of us, and that Ready to Roll will be back on Thursday. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming by. We love you all. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye.